Hi Bookish Babes, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa, and for today's video we are going to go over a book haul of over 20 books. And I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to try to be a little more laid back. I kind of want to make this more of a vlog where I'm talking to you like I'm on FaceTime. And I do this with some people already, so might as well just start doing it on my YouTube channel. This is 20 books that I have bought within a month. Some of these books have been free per girl math. I got a gift card to Target from my apartment complex, and I also had a gift card to Barnes and Noble. And I normally get these books on sale, so most of them were not full price. And I cannot wait to go over what I got because book hauls are some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube, and I hope they are for you too. So go ahead and grab your snack, grab your beverage of choice, and let's see what I came up with in a month. First off, a little shout out to my brother and his fiance, Allie, for the sweatshirt I have on. I got this for Christmas, and it is Throne of Glass themed. It says, "You do not yield," and I love it. If you know, you know. And then I also want to flaunt my new Kindle case that I got from Lash Next Door, which is a website or shop that Brooklyn and Bailey, which I don't know how to explain who they are if you don't know them, but they've been on YouTube for a really long time, and they have their own shop for multiple different things. But this is my new Kindle case. It looks like a little fairy notebook with some vintage looking things, as well as a strap so I can hold my Kindle like this, and a stand. So if you're interested, I know that they just came out with some new designs, so I can link their website below. Sometimes they sell very fast. Also, there's another Kindle case company that I did not buy one from, but my bestie did, and she loves it. So I will also add that into my description as well in case anybody wants a new case. But on to the book haul. First off, I have Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I found this at Barnes and Noble. They had it for 50% off because I think there was like a little tear or something on this box. But this looks like a VHS tape, and I've loved the idea of this book for a while, and I thought they were sold out. But alas, they were not. So sometimes you can find some rare finds at some Barnes and Noble, dependent on where you are. So that is the first one. Again, I bought this for more on the look side. I haven't read it yet, but tell me what you think if you have. I have Business or Pleasure. This book is a book that I have been wanting for a while, probably for about a year and a half now, to have on my bookshelf, but I just kept picking it up and putting it back down and picking it up and putting it back down on the shelves. So I finally just said, buy it since you've been thinking about it. I got this for 15% off at an indie bookstore for Valentine's Day because it's a romance. So let me explain what it's about. This book says a ghostwriter and a struggling actor help each other on the page and in the bedroom in this steamy romantic comedy. I guess from what I can read here, there's a ghostwriter and she ends up with somebody for a one night stand, and that somebody ends up being an actor that she actually has to ghostwrite a memoir for that she doesn't even know. So she gets to find out more information about him and all of his interesting talents, minus the one night stand that happened. Next is The Nanny, Lana Ferguson. I've heard a lot of good things about this from booktubers, and I really want to see what this is all about, because the thing that intrigues me is that this is a single dad that watches this nanny he hired, her online content she makes. and subscribes to it. He's like her highest subscriber, I think. But she ends up being the nanny, and I believe they fall in love with each other. But I don't know. I think this is Lana Ferguson's first more popular book or debut novel, maybe. It just says a woman discovers the father of the child she is nannying may be her biggest online content in this steamy contemporary romance. He's her biggest fan. Next is Pen Pal by J.T. Geisinger. I have seen this book everywhere, and I know it's not for everybody. The cover can show you that. And just the fact that he's in jail or prison. But if you want to know more about it, I will read the synopsis here. The first letter arrived the day my husband was buried. It was postmarked from the state penitentiary. Penitentiary? I'll wait forever if I have to. It was signed by Dante, a man I didn't know. Out of simple curiosity, I wrote back to ask him what exactly he was waiting for. His reply, you. I heard you just don't know what's going to happen in this book, and I cannot wait to read it to really understand what it is. Some people say it could be a little bit like scary, but I think it's just considered dark romance. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's just dark romance. Next is 1,000 Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole. This is the second of 1,000 Boy Kisses. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I haven't read 1,000 Boy Kisses and I don't want to spoil it for myself, but I know this is like a duology that she wrote. So I just figured I would buy this to finish up the duology so that I had both of them. Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. So this just says, I'm just a girl. As it turns out, I'm Hercules. So this is the first, as you can see, there's a 1 on the side, of a new series or trilogy. And I've seen this going around everywhere. And it just sounds so good. So really, I bought this off of pure vibes of other people enjoying it. And that's it. I did end up reading the back eventually. But it has gods and goddesses, obviously with her being Hercules. And the fact that she is Hercules and not a man. Like, I'm just a girl. That's what she says. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to be taken with Hercules being a girl. Next is God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is a pure buy from the fact that Larry Reeds loves this series. She just loves the series so much. And I really wanted, since they're not now traditionally published, I wanted the ones with the sprayed edges. So right now I only have the first book, but I technically got this for free because I had a Barnes & Noble gift card and girl math, gift card equals free item. So I know this is Mafia and Killian Carson. It says, don't romanticize me or you'll be eaten alive. And this book is just so pretty. Let's just pick a random sentence to read in here. Why don't we? As she watches the fireflies, I watch her. That was sweet. But I know this ain't a sweet book. This one I feel like I have to justify. Maybe I don't. Because the people who watch these videos on YouTube know that some people buy the same book that they already have on their shelf in different editions. But this is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I'm in her newsletter, so I know that her newest collector's edition of Scarred, which is my favorite out of the series, is coming out soon. And I could pre-order if I wanted. So I felt it was necessary to have every single one of these books as a collector's edition too. So when I eventually have a house or another bookshelf that I can display all my pretty books, I had them all. So This is what it looks like on the front. The back says a little bit of faith, misplaced trust, missing pixie dust, and a villain who just needed to steal a little love. And that's how that looks, as well as the side and the front. And then Darling and sprayed edges down here, as well as they're on the side. And there's also illustration in the front. And I just want to point out that if you know Peter Pan, which I think this is very interesting, she kept these pages as Wendy's dress that she was in when she was taken by Peter Pan to Neverland. So this was not a necessary buy, but it also was a necessary buy. Let's pick up another pretty copy of a book I just bought. This one I bought from my favorite indie bookstore. I saw it there for a while, and I still decided not to buy it because I'm like, I don't need it. Well, then I kept thinking about it, so I ended up buying it anyways. The Game Gods Play. This is a very new book. It's a fantasy. I don't know if it's young adult or just regular fantasy, but she'll fight for her life for the god of death. And this is just a beautiful cover overall. So there's this. Then on the back, you're going to have this on the actual book. It has sprayed edges down all of it, as well as illustration in the front cover, which this is the same picture on both. There's animals and a man and a woman, so we know that there's going to be love in this. It just looked so good. So this is the first of a series called The Crucible. I know almost nothing about this, but it was calling my name. Now, a majority of these other books I will show all together because they are either a full series or they're a finishing of a series that I already have, like the first one or the second one on my shelves. So we will start off with Done and Dusted. I just bought Done and Dusted, and I knew I needed the other two, so I was able to get those at Target. So I have Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled, and Lost and Lassoed. I know the next one is going to be coming out soon in April, but I took advantage of that buy one get one 50% off at Target. So I have these, and they're just such gorgeous covers. I mean, really, good old cowboy romances. Can you really go wrong? Now on to the last part of a trilogy that I have the first book on my shelf. That is the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. I have Her Soul to Take, and I got both of the others, Her Soul for Revenge and Soul of a Witch. I really think I have a problem with the fact that I haven't read any of the firsts of these books. And I just continue to make sure I have the whole trilogy just so that I know that I have it when I'm done with the first book. If I love it that much, I can just go on to the next. So here are the next two of those. And I guess these are an interconnected standalone because these all have different male and female main characters, like romance-wise. So that's those. I also have the first Elsie Silver book of Off to the Races. I've already read the Chestnut Spring series, but I have Off to the Races. And us bookish babes are going to start Off to the Races soon, probably within the next month or so. So I figured it would be nice to have the rest of the books to go with it. I know these are on Kindle Unlimited, but I love Elsie Silver so much that I really wanted to have all of her books. So I have A Photo Finish, The Frontrunner, and False Start, as well as Off to the Races that's already on there, but I bought these. Again, took advantage of that buy one, get one 50% off from Target. And like, these are also just so gorgeous, and they make a mountain range on the side. Just look at all of the bright colors. I mean, really, And after the Chestnut Spring series, I know these will be the best silly little cowboy romances for summer, maybe even spring. I also have the first of the Raven Hood trilogy, so I got the rest of them. Exodus, The Finish Line, and I know this is part of it, but also probably not. I'm not sure because I haven't read them yet. One Last Rainy Day. So now that these are traditionally published, I really liked the first book in the series, the way it looks, because again, haven't read it, but I really wanted to have the rest of the traditionally published books. So I have all of those to go with the first. In my last video, if you watched it, you know that I have a novella on there that I already showed you, but this is also new. Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. This goes with the Cat and Mouse duet, and I just wanted to make sure I had all of them so that I could start from the beginning, even if this is only a novella, like a 0.5, because I like to read things in order if I can, just to get the full gist of the story. If you watch my bookshelf reorganization, you would know that I didn't read, that I have 2 Lucy Score books that are together, but I didn't have the third one for the trilogy of the Knock 'em Out series. So I did get this for 15% off at an indie bookstore for Valentine's Day because I wanted to finish the trilogy out so that I actually do get to this, because I'm really interested to see what this trilogy is all about, especially because a couple of people that I know, a couple of friends, enjoy it so much and they rave about it. I think I'm just a little intimidated at times because the books are so long, but I have heard that it's really easy to get through, even though they're long. They're really easy writing and a wonderful story. So, got the third of that. Just a little break, caffeine break. Make sure you're drinking your beverage and eating your snack. So, as I was talking about my books that I've hauled here, my microphone died. So, we have to go over a few of them again. All right, on to the last 6 books that I have on my book haul. Again, if you watched my bookshelf reorganization, you would see that I have the first of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So I decided to get the second one in paperback. I know this is going to be a trilogy, but right now they don't have the third one in hardcover or in paperback. So I decided to get the second one to finish out that trilogy as of right now. I also would love to get Six Scorched Roses in paperback, but I think they only have it in hardcover at this point. So if you know where I could find the paperback version of that, unless I'd have to pre-order it right now, please let me know in the comments where I can do that at. Now, as you all know by now, my favorite author is Emily McIntyre when it comes to dark romance, at this moment anyways. And she has her first series, the Sugar Lake series, that has now been traditionally published. 2 of those books are still for pre-order because they aren't out with the new covers yet. But I did get the first 2. Look at how beautiful these are. I did love the indie versions, but I love the little cartoon people, and there's also numbers on the spines for what number of the series it is. So, these are more of my prized possessions from my favorite author. And I will tell you something. Always keep an eye out at your Barnes & Noble and Targets, because even though they're not supposed to, I bought this book before the release date of it being traditionally published. It was supposed to be out on February 11th, which was last Tuesday, but I ended up buying it the Friday before. So always keep an eye out because you never know what you're going to find. I know I said that I was done with standalone books, but I have 3 more that I forgot because I stacked them behind everything. But The Last Raven by Helen Gwynne Jones. This one has sprayed edges. It's a short book. I think this is a romantasy. It says, I'll be forced to take the crown simply because of who my parents are. Never mind that my skin, my eyes, the way I move, everything will give me away for what I am, human, in a world ruled by vampires. So, I mean, you can't get any better than vampires and humans and what ends up going on there. This year, I have decided that sometimes I'm going to start buying books that I know nothing about because I feel like social media really blows up with certain ones and we just continue buying them, which I know I do that. But for this book, I knew nothing about it. I don't even know the publishing company, which is One More Chapter, but I wanted to give it a chance. And on Goodreads, I did see that it was 2.9 star, but there were not very many people that rated it yet or reviewed it. So I wanted to give a book a chance that I didn't know anything about. Maybe we should all start doing that sometimes. We are now on to the last 2 books that I'm putting in the haul. I did not buy these. These 2 books are Valentine's gifts from my fiance Brandon, and I am so appreciative that he listens and knows exactly what I like because even though he doesn't read, somehow he's still on Book Talk and books will be popping up every now and then. He did do his due diligence and look at my Libib list of books that I have on my bookshelf, but I think he did such a great job with the picks he chose. So I just want to share them with you. And these are indie books, which I think we should support indie authors more often. So I'll be able to stack these with the ones that I bought from vendors out in Oklahoma because they fit perfectly. First off, we are going to talk about Honeysuckles by January Rain. This is the Monster Stalker series, book 1. When I tell you that the synopsis is spicy, I mean it. I'm not going to read the synopsis completely for you, but I will show you. The cover is beautiful. And the first part of it says, I'm a monster DNA experiment. She's everything my beasts want. So I have not read any monster romance yet, but I'm so curious to see what this one has to offer because I did open it up earlier and did a little like read one sentence randomly. And let's just say that sentence cannot be repeated on the internet. So if you like monster romance as well as spicy books, I would say you'd probably like this. And it's on Kindle Unlimited if anybody would like to read it on there. It is a trilogy, I think. I also wanted to draw attention to the fact that it's dual POV and there is some art on the first parts of the chapters. So this is Creed. And the other person is Demi. And her chapters start by looking like this. Which I just want to let you guys know that indie books are so much better published than traditional books when it comes to durability. Their pages are thicker and they just put a lot of more care and effort into them, I feel like, because all of this like illustration on the inside of these books, I think it just gives the book even more character. And the last book, last but not least, is The Dagger in the Forbidden Air by Amelia J. This is also a trilogy. Again, right up my alley. Good old fantasy, which I know this has love in it at some point, I'm sure. But it has fae and humans and war, and it's also a trilogy. It's the Forbidden Air trilogy. And The books are The Dagger in the Forbidden Air, The Crown of Wyvern's Flame, and A Throne of Wings and Embers. I will read the synopsis of this one to you because it sounds very interesting. A century ago, an exchange was proposed, a life saved for a war of revenge. For Captain Leah of the Fae army and the secret bastard daughter of the king, she's reminded of those consequences daily. Unable to claim her heritage or her throne, she's powerless to stop the innocent bloodshed that her birth ushered in. On the other side of the lines, Commander Jace Kadoria gladly fights the war of his ancestors to slaughter the Fae who have terrorized the humans of their realm for generations. And with a cunning plan to trap them, the end could finally be in sight, except it quickly spirals out of control, leaving Leah and Jace enemies of opposite sides, stranded together in a dangerous terrain. Engaged in an intimate battle of their own, both warring to take control, they'll need their wits now more than ever to survive, because this fight could cost their lives and their hearts. This sounds right up my alley. And I don't think he could have done any better buying these books for me for Valentine's Day. He knows me very well, if you can't tell. Okay, so that is my haul. I know I have way too many books, but I just don't care anymore. I'm really enjoying buying them. And as I read some books, especially thrillers and some romance books, I start to eliminate them from my shelves because thrillers, unless I really enjoyed it so much that I think I need to keep a copy, I don't reread them. So those I'm finally eliminating from my shelves. And any romance, again, that I just don't think I need to read it again, they'll be off my shelves. But I also will probably, at the end of the year, go through my bookshelves and unhaul books that I either think I'm not going to read or that I don't need anymore, or books that maybe like a trilogy or a series that I just am not that in love with. So there's some books that I just won't keep. And as I keep buying books too, there's going to be some that I like to get for display purposes. So I'm not going to try to justify myself. And I hope that you don't either, because buying books is also a hobby, not just reading them. And maybe I'm trying to build myself a library. You know, you only need 1,000 books to be a library. I already lend them out like I am. So why not actually be a library? Out of these books that I have on my book haul, if there's any of them you think, even if they're not the first, and I have the first book on my shelf, if there's any of them that you think I need to get to pronto at this very moment, please let me know, because sometimes I need some guidance. My decision making, it's not always easy. And if you guys want me to start vlogging, also let me know, because I've thought about doing some different vlogs here and there. A little hard to do videotaping while I'm at work, but I can start doing that if that's something that other people are interested in. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Bye!